Hi there, gorgeous! Hope you're doing fabulously. In today's real-time tutorial, I'm showing you an easy smoky eye. The beauty of this look is that you can wear this very easily during the day, or you can punch it up a little bit and really dramatize it for the evening hours. And I'll give you tips and tricks throughout the video for doing just that. Everything I'm showing you today is in real time. Very little editing involved here. The parts I did edit were due to redundancy, or I was looking for a product, or I wasn't really doing anything new. But for the most part, I'm showing you everything from start to finish. So if you've been looking for a tutorial like this, I truly hope that you find it helpful. First thing I'm doing is applying an eyeshadow primer. I'm using the one from Milani, taking a small amount, putting that on my lids. Not gonna show you all of this because it's boring. You do wanna let the primer fully dry before beginning your application, and we're pretty much dried at this point. So next I'm going to take my blending shade. I'm using a Max Blanc type with a fluffy brush. This is the IT Cosmetics number 5 brush, and I'm using this on the brow bone. I typically do this in all of my looks. It helps blending. It makes the look more professional looking. Also helps the eyeshadow to glide on much easier too. To start this smoky eye, I'm going with MAC's Groundwork Paint Pot, and the brush that I'm using here is the MAC 242. It's one of my absolute favorites for applying cream products like this, especially onto the eyes. I had to replace my Groundwork recently because mine was looking pretty haggard and probably expired, so I'm glad to have it back. I'm applying this lightly on the lids, and you do want to apply a little bit at a time. This is such a pigmented paint pot that if you apply too much, it can be rather hard to blend. So I always like to apply a little bit as I go each time. And the goal here is to apply this on the lid and blend it up into the crease. You can use your fingers here too. You do not have to use a brush. Sometimes a finger application is really nice with this paint pot also. And if you want a cheaper alternative, Maybelline has some really great, I want to call them paint pots, I'm just going to call them that, cream-based eyeshadows, I should say, that are very similar to the MAC ones in terms of quality, and will give you similar results at a better price point. And then once I've got it to right about there on the eye, I'm going to take, now I have to find my brush. Actually, you know what, I'm going to use my finger. I'm going to take my finger and very lightly begin to blend those edges of Groundwork. And then I'm going back with that same brush from IT Cosmetics I talked about earlier, and I'm using that to blend the edges. There's nothing on this brush right now. I'm simply using the bristles in a circular motion to get the rough edges blended. I'm going to do the same thing on this eye in the same way. This is a light smoky eye. This is something that you could wear during the day if you wanted to. You could wear it at night. It's a way to ease into the idea of a smoky eye. I didn't want to give you like a really black smoky eye to start with, because I know some people can be really uncomfortable with that, and that's totally fine. I know for the longest time I was too. If your edges are not completely blended and diffused, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of that in this next step using the eyeshadow Cork from MAC. We're going to apply this all over the lid. Just washed all my brushes, and so I'm all over the place right now. I'm taking the MAC 239 brush and taking a little bit of Cork on that brush. That brush is still wet. Yeah, I can't use that. Okay, found a dry 239 here. Taking a little bit of Cork onto that brush, and I'm going to apply that over Groundwork. First on the lid with the 239. And you don't have to use any of these colors I'm using. You can choose colors that are darker if you're darker skinned. You can choose different colors based on your unique coloring that you feel flatter your complexion more. It's really the technique that I'm showing you here. So I wanted to say that because when I first got into YouTube and I would follow some of these tutorials, I would feel like I had to buy all of the products they were using, but then they didn't necessarily match my complexion. So follow the technique more so, I would say, but if you want to use different colors, then by all means, absolutely do that. I was so ignorant when I first started watching YouTube videos. I didn't know that you could change the colors of things. I thought you had to use exactly what they were using. So that's why I say that. And next I'm taking my ScandalEyes EB09 brush. This is a simple fluffy crease brush, and I'm taking more of that Cork eyeshadow from MAC, and I'm going to use that in the crease and begin to blend it. And this is what I mean when I said earlier, don't worry about those harsh edges with groundwork, because we're going to be covering them up anyway with Cork. And I'll be blending with my blending shade afterwards also, so you really won't see them. And you can see when I applied Cork over that paint pot, it deepened it a little more, because Cork is not a really dark eyeshadow. It's a lot lighter than what you're seeing here usually on me. But groundwork gives it a little more drama, a little more depth. And now that I have that applied up in the crease, I am going to go in with the same IT Cosmetics brush I've been using. I'm taking the smallest amount of Max Blanc type again on the bristles of this brush. I'm going to tap that off and using that to blend the edges of Cork. You do want to be careful with how much of your blending shade you're using here, because if you apply too much, the edges of Cork tend to muddy very fast. That's what I've noticed with it in the past. So it's a rather touchy eyeshadow in that sense. But if you're careful to use a small amount, then you won't run into those issues. Now we have a pretty good smoky eye going on there. So we're going to add a little bit more drama to this look. I'm taking, what happened to it? I just had it. Where did I put it? My eyeshadow grew legs. I swear I put everything out here in front of me, but no, it was sitting over there. Taking MAC's Carbon eyeshadow. This is a simple matte black. You can also use something like Makeup Geek's Corrupt eyeshadow. Anything that's a basic matte black works really well here. And I'm using an angled brush. This is the MAC 266 brush. Taking a little bit of that Carbon eyeshadow on this brush. And I'm going to be lining the upper lash line with it. And again, such a richly pigmented eyeshadow that I typically apply a little bit, come back and add more, apply a little bit, come back and add more. I find that's the best way to do eyeshadow looks. It's a lot easier to add than it is to subtract. I've always felt that way. You could leave it just like this, looks great, or you could smudge the black eyeliner a bit more to give it a more slept in look. So I'm going to show you that. I'm using the Bad Habit brush. This is their number 7 small smudger brush, taking some more of that black eyeshadow from MAC again. And I'm simply taking this and using it to smudge that line on the upper lash line. So it's not defined, it's not sharp, it's much more smoky looking. You can see how it's performing right there. It's blurring that line, which I think is a really pretty effect. And I really love doing this because it makes your lashes look even thicker and fuller afterwards. And if you're doing this type of an effect and you feel like you've smudged it too much, you can always take more of your lid color and blend it over the top and then go back and blend more of the black to get the right mixture. Because sometimes it's happened to me in the past where I'll just get smudge happy and I'll keep smudging, and then I've got black going up into my crease. And I'm like, whoa. And you can see the difference here from this eye to this eye, the type of results you get when you do smudge it compared to when you leave it more defined. So it's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and finish my face, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to complete the lower lash line. I typically like to apply my face products first and then finish off my eyes afterwards, simply because I have found if I apply my lower lash line first and then my face products, I end up brushing away, covering up a lot of the work that I did there, and then I have to go back and reapply it anyway. So that's what works for me. Definitely do what works for you. I'm simply sharing that as something else that I've learned, another mistake I've made in the past. Now that I have the face completely done, I'm taking more of MAC's Carbon on the MAC 266 brush again, and I'm first going to line that lower lash line. I'm not applying much because this can really overpower the look quickly if you apply too much. So a little bit goes a long way. And I'm not taking it all the way into the inner corners. I'm going to the point in the iris, yes, the iris, where the edge of that is, if that makes sense. Where your eye is right there, the very edge, that's where I'm stopping the application with the black eyeshadow. I swear I have another Sigma E30. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, I do. It's right there. I love this smudger brush. Very fluffy, not stiff at all, won't scratch your skin. It's one of my favorites. Taking a little bit more of the Cork eyeshadow on this brush, and I'm going to use that to smudge out the black. Again, not using too much of Cork, because if you apply too much, you can really start to get that raccoon look. I mean, that's nice too on its own if that's what you want to do, but I'm trying to keep this look a little lighter. For the waterline in this look, you could do this one of two ways. You can add a nude eyeliner or you can add a black eyeliner. If you add a black eyeliner, it would elevate the look to a whole other level. I would do that if I was wearing this look at night. For day, I would add a nude eyeliner. So I'm going to keep this more daytime smoky and use a nude eyeliner. I'm using one here from Rimmel and applying that directly on the waterline. Then I'm taking a little bit of this Inglot eyeshadow right here. This is number 397. It's a simple light shimmer, looks like that. And I'm going to use this on the inner corner of the eyes to add a little bit of highlight there. Going back to that same smudger brush I was using earlier from Bad Habit Beauty, this is their number 7 brush, taking a little bit of that Inglot eyeshadow, and I'm going to apply that into the inner corners. And then blend. And that gives the eyes a nice sparkle there. To complete the eyes, I am going to curl my lashes and apply mascara, and then I'm going to apply a pair of false eyelashes. I'm not going to show you all of the steps here. It's rather redundant. If you would like a full tutorial on how to apply false eyelashes, I do have a complete beginner's guide, and I will have that linked for you below if you're interested. And the lashes I paired up with this look are from my line Inky Minky Lashes. These are in the style Blessed. They are a new synthetic pair that will be available next month, and I'll have a whole video out announcing all of the new styles, showing you what they look like on the eyes, including this pair. But if you're watching this video in the future, I will also have them linked for you below so you can purchase them directly. They are some of my absolute favorites, and I did pair them up with a black eyelash adhesive, so everything blended into the look with a smoky eye like that. I feel like that's a key tip. For the lips, I am going to be using a favorite lip combo of mine. This is the Milani Nude lip liner, and I'm pairing that up with MAC's Myth lipstick. If you are interested in any of the products I used here today, I will have all of them listed and linked for you below. And if you would like to see more videos in this series, I do have a few others that I've done already. I'll have those linked below for you. I did a real-time winged eyeliner tutorial and a real-time eyeshadow application tutorial. So if there's something else you'd like to see in the future, feel free to leave your suggestions below. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Please subscribe, like, and share with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.